Well, you should probably hear this story if you've watched me before. If you haven't, you should probably hear it anyway. It's about my past. It's about my family. It's about this helicopter. And it's a day, actually, that changed how I think about everything and how I went forward from that day on. And my past with helicopters in Alaska, if you've watched my videos before, you probably heard about it. I was a guide in Alaska, Denali National Park, for many years, and I was an alpine guide. I taught climbing and glacier travel. And after a lot of years of doing that, I moved down to a place called Seward, Alaska. It's a cruise ship port. And I married my high school sweetheart many years later, after we hadn't seen each other for many years. And we started this business together. And basically my past was just glaciers and mountaineering. And I had been pursuing a partnership with a helicopter company to take people to the glaciers outside of Seward. And anyway, long story short, after a lot of work, years of work, and getting in this partnership finally, my job was to take people on the glacier, teach glacier travel, natural history. The helicopter would bring them up. I'd usually do sometimes 3 trips a day, but generally 2, and sometimes none if it was raining really hard. We get a lot of rain there. But at the same time, me and my wife and my children, we all lived there, and we ran a place called Creekside Cabins. And that was 5 cabins, and then we lived on the property, and they were nightly rentals in Seward, Alaska. Seward is a really big destination, cruise ship port in Alaska, so we were busy. We were making beds, cleaning bathrooms, and then I'd be up on the glacier later in the day or early in the morning cleaning, doing things later. I mean, it was just a job that we all did together. So during those days, we were very busy. Summertime's just hopping in Alaska. So I had to go to Anchorage a lot, get supplies, pick people up from the airport, and it was just constant go, go, go. And one time I was in town in Anchorage, and I'll get phone calls all day. I just can't, I'll miss calls because I'm shopping and doing stuff. So I thought, well, I'll just check my phone on my way out of town. And so on my way out of town, just as I get to where we're going to hit the hills and you lose reception, I sit there and check the messages. And I get a phone call from the Alaska State Trooper. And he just says, Mr. Dunn, can you please give us a call here in Seward at the trooper's office, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't give me any information other than that. And I'm like, shit, what happened? A lot of times there'll be a theft out at the airport. Somebody will break into our hangar. So I thought, well, maybe somebody broke into something out at the airport. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to lose reception. And I tried to make the call back the trooper's number, just went right to voicemail. I left my message. And then I called the airport, and they said, oh, yeah, we haven't heard anything here. And your wife is up on the glacier with a group right now. And so I said, okay, well, I'll just try when I get back and see what was going on with the trooper. And so I get back to town. It's a couple-hour drive. I'm kind of thinking about what the heck's going on. And I get to town, and somebody said, hey, trooper wants you to call him right away. And that's at the airport. And I said, okay. So I called him up, and our helicopter's just coming in, and my wife with a group of people. And I'm talking to the trooper. I said, hey, what's up? This is Darren Dunn out at the airport. And he said, Mr. Dunn, I want to tell you something that happened. I tried to call you and your wife earlier, and we've already notified the helicopter company, which no one had told me anything yet. And I'll just tell you the story of what happened. They basically foiled a hijacking that was going to happen with we only have 2 helicopters there in the whole area. And supposedly, a guy had got put in that prison right at Spring Creek, and he had a couple of friends outside the prison that wanted to break him out. It was going to be this breakout thing. True story, I'll put it in the description, and it was in the news and everything. And the plan is to helicopter, they found a letter about all this. This is how they foiled it. They were going to hijack the helicopter while we were flying up to the glacier, and they even put this in the letter. They were going to kill us offload us on the Glacier somewhere, and now they had a pilot in the prison. They were going to break him out as well. So as a pilot, a guy that had been put in the prison, this is all kind of it'd been going on for a long time. So you can read the article in the paper. It just gives so much information. Basically, they were just going to hijack our helicopter and kill us, and then fly 2 hours to another place, another island, and from there get picked up by somebody else. And from that, they don't know any more details. That was just their plan to get broken out of the prison. Now, I fly by that prison every day in the helicopter. I'm a passenger heading to the Glacier with my group. And so it just never occurred to me. We don't have any protocol. You know, there's like no metal detector at the time. This is after 9/11 too. There was just like, you know, people showing up. We throw them in the helicopter and go. We do a little safety talk first. But on the way up, after I'd heard this, and I was taking my next group up there, and we were flying by the prison, I was just like, wow, what a trip. What a reality that could have been. And then, you know, even after that, we were still pretty mellow about how we checked people in, but we were aware. We were like, guys, that person looked like they could have been, you know, there's no way to tell. And we didn't search people, of course. But after that incident, it just made me think about, God, my kids would fly up to the Glacier with my wife and have lunch with me. We would all fly back together. We were in and out of the Glacier all the time. It's about a 20-minute flight from town. So it just really made me appreciate, number one, at the time, it was just a big hit in the face. Like, God, I love my family. I'm so appreciative. Every flight from, you know, it was always important being in the helicopter and a little, you know, scary. You might not come back. But after that, it just got more intense. And all that could have been, you know, all the, you know, things that didn't happen, thankfully. Anyway, that's a story about some of the stuff in my past in Alaska. I've got a lot of stories about Alaska. I don't know. I don't really save them for any later date. They just come to mind. That one came to mind when I saw that photo of me and my wife and my kids, my daughters, in front of the helicopter. So, thanks for watching.